Hey everybody, so today's Tuesday. That means it's time for family movie night, and we are reaching the end of my Disney Canon Project update. This is a series I started many years ago where I reviewed every single film in the Disney Animated Studios canon. They call them the Disney Classics. And it had been a couple of years since I had updated it. This month, every week, I have reviewed a movie for Disney Canon Project for family movie night. This week, we're finishing off with the most recent release, Strange World. And of course, this is one of the biggest bombs that the studio has ever had. And I think they knew it going into it. They decided not to market it very much, which I don't really understand, especially when there's so much that's basically free. Like, why not use social media? Why not use even if you don't love your movie, like why not get as much money from it as you can? I don't really understand why Disney does this. I mean, there are so many ways that they could have marketed this film, at least in the parks. And from what I've heard from friends and stuff, that there was just like nothing. And I mean, I was there in September and there wasn't much. There wasn't much on Strange World at D23, just a little bit. But yeah, this was definitely, they knew going into it that they didn't love this film, and you can always tell when Disney isn't in love with their films. But I went into it hoping to be surprised, and I have to say I didn't love it. I found the characters to be very unlikable, especially the father and grandfather characters. I mean, they spend the whole movie just fighting. The other problem with the movie is that they don't succeed in creating any kind of suspense or mystery. I mean, it's very obvious from the very beginning what this world is, that it's inside some kind of organism of some kind. Everything looks like blood vessels, looks like. So when you see the eye and they literally like pan out and are like, whoa, like this big moment, it doesn't pay off because we already knew. And so I think that that also hurt their advertising because they didn't want to give away certain things out of fear of spoilers, but it was obvious from the beginning, even from some of the pictures. So they didn't need to worry about that. I know everybody freaks out about spoilers these days, but I think that that was part of the reason they wanted this like a moment, and it just did not materialize at all. So this movie does have sort of a fun spirit of adventure at the beginning with this sort of old 1950s kind of serial film reel at the beginning. And I do enjoy that. And you get introduced to Jaeger Clade and Searcher, and this becomes the grandfather and the father in the story. And then we zoom up in time after they find this thing called Pando. And I don't really understand why, if the Pando is so toxic to this organism, like why it's not having any negative effects on the humans. That usually something that's bad for nature is bad for all mammals and or organisms. So I think that it seems like it's just nothing but positive to the people. But anyway, they're trying to figure out what's happening with the Pondo. It's not working as well as it did. They have this ship that is impervious to acid, which is another hint that this is in like stomach acid, basically. And then you have the son of Searcher, that he is named Ethan. He loves games, he loves nature, he loves his dog, and he also has a crush on a young man named Dazo. And I actually think that was one of the strongest parts of the movie, was this relationship. And I think it's good for all people to be accepted and see themselves in media. So I had no problem with that at all. I thought it was well done and in taste. But we also have a strength in, I think the world building is pretty. I think the animation is nice. And so I like that. I don't really love some of the character designs, like the big noses and just the way people are kind of designed. I think is a little weird sometimes. We do have this morph creature, Splat. This is called this blue creature called Splat. That's pretty fun, and kind of our classic Disney sidekick that we have, and so I enjoyed that. And there were some fun, like my favorite part of the movie is probably when they all get stuck in the closet, which is saying something when you have this great supposedly adventure, when like the best, funniest scene is when the dog has the key and they're all trying to get out of the locked closet. Not great. I also think they underuse the female characters. They're barely in the movie, and really just to like fly the ship and every once in a while make comments. So I don't think that's good. And I think they kind of waste Gabrielle Union and Lucy Liu, not do anything interesting with them. And I just think the biggest problem with this movie is that they thought they were being so clever with this big reveal with this eye, and it was so obvious and so not clever. And so everything just comes off as really hollow, and all the fighting. I mean, I think about 2/3 of the dialogue of this movie is people fighting. I still think it's you can gain something from watching almost any movie, Disney movie, with your family, and I think this is no exception. There's themes of protecting the environment and living at peace with our environment. Sometimes that's a little heavy-handed, but I still think you could have like a good talk about our impact on the environment and what we're doing. You could have a nice family home evening with that. Also, if you have any LGBTQ children, young people in your life, then I think this is a positive depiction. And so I think that that could be a great thing to talk about, and how we treat people. And so I think that's great. The animation's beautiful. You could talk about these 1950s serials that, especially at the beginning, that they kind of spoof, and you can maybe watch some of those as well. So there's things to appreciate, I think, as a family about the movie, and it's all about family. So I think that you could have a lot of conversations about getting along with different generations of family, and how we treat each other, and do we listen to each other, all of those things. So it's not without value, but just definitely pretty low for me on my Disney Canon ranking. It would be in the 50s. So that's too bad, because I was really hoping I would enjoy it more. So let me know what you think of Strange World. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments or on Twitter. And you can find my playlist of all of my Disney Canon reviews. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Please check it out. And we also have the Talking Disney episodes, where me and Stanford go into more of a deep dive into every single movie in the canon and bonuses. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on those. So check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. We also have the Patreon group and merch store. You can get hashtag Animation Junkie shirts, and that is so helpful, and especially the Patreon. If you want to help out this channel, if you value it, the best way is to sign up for the Patreon. And so take a look at that. The link's in the description. So thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.